My name is Ethan Cole, and I was never supposed to be on Xeria Prime, the crown world of the Valari Empire. I was just a human engineer stationed on a small outpost orbiting their outer colonies, maintaining mining drones and comms relays. Humans were tolerated in Valari space, but barely. To them, we were the primitive species from Sol, clever with machines but lacking refinement, culture, and, as one of them once told me, biological grace. The Valari were tall, luminous beings with pale blue skin that shimmered faintly under their twin suns. Their eyes glowed softly in bioluminescent hues that revealed their emotions, a feature that made lying almost impossible. So when I got summoned to the Imperial Palace on Xeria Prime, I thought it was a mistake. Humans didn't get invited to royal courts. I arrived by shuttle, nervous, clutching my datapad as if it were a shield. The palace was alive with flowing lights and hovering crystal towers, architecture that looked half organic, half dream. The grand convocation was being held, a gathering of nobles, generals, and foreign ambassadors. I was just there to fix a broken communication relay in the grand hall. At least that's what I thought. But fate had other plans. The princess arrives. The moment she entered, the entire hall fell silent. Princess Elira Velerin, heir to the Valari throne. I had seen her holograms before, but nothing compared to the real thing. She radiated authority and elegance, her skin faintly luminescent gold, a rare mark of royal lineage. Her eyes glowed deep violet, intense yet soft, as though they held an entire galaxy's worth of stories. Her ceremonial armor shimmered with shifting silver light, and the nobles bowed as she walked past. I remember crouching by the relay console, trying not to draw attention, but she stopped, right in front of me. "Human," she said, her voice calm but commanding. "Why are you here during the convocation?" I'm just fixing the relay, Your Highness," I stammered, nearly dropping my tools. She tilted her head slightly, studying me as if she were scanning my soul. Her gaze wasn't cruel, just curious. "Continue," she said softly. "You may work." And then, to everyone's shock, she knelt down beside me. Every noble in the hall gasped. The crown princess of Valari was kneeling next to a human, a being they considered barely above an assistant drone. She watched me work silently, her eyes glowing faintly pink, the Valari hue of interest. "You understand our relay systems?" she asked after a moment. "Yes, Your Highness. I studied Valari tech back at the Terran Engineering Corps." Her lips curved slightly, a smile. "Impressive. Most humans find our systems overwhelming." "I find them fascinating," I admitted before I could stop myself. That earned me another faint smile. And that was how it began. The connection that shouldn't exist. Over the next weeks, the princess summoned me several times, each time with a different pretext. One day it was a malfunctioning drone, another day an energy regulator. But gradually, our conversations drifted away from machines. She asked about Earth, about oceans, forests, rain. I told her about sunsets over the Pacific, the smell of petrichor after a storm, the laughter of children in crowded cities. She listened, eyes glowing with curiosity and wonder. To her, humanity was raw, emotional, unpredictable, everything the Valari had long forgotten. "You feel so deeply," she once said, tracing her fingers over a holographic image of Earth's sky. "Our people lost that long ago. We evolved beyond passion, beyond chaos. But sometimes, I think we lost something precious too." I smiled faintly. "Maybe passion and chaos are part of being alive." Her gaze softened. "Then maybe I envy you, Ethan Cole." From then on, she insisted I call her Elira when we spoke in private. But rumors began to spread. The court whispered that the princess had grown attached to a human. Others seethed with anger, especially Lord Xiron, the general of the Imperial fleet and her intended betrothed. The engagement wasn't out of love. It was political, meant to unite two powerful factions within the Empire. And I had just disrupted it. The confrontation. It happened one night in the palace gardens. I was working late on a power conduit when Xiron found me. He was tall, sharp-featured, his armor etched with crimson runes of battle honor. His eyes glowed red, the Valari color of rage. "You," he snarled. "The human mechanic." He stood cautious. "Lord Xiron, you will leave this world. Immediately. With respect, I'm under assignment from the Palace Engineering Bureau." "You misunderstand," he hissed, stepping closer. "You breathe the same air as the princess. You speak her name. You pollute her purity." Before I could react, he grabbed me by the throat and lifted me effortlessly. His strength was inhuman. "Humans should know their place," he growled. Suddenly, a burst of violet light filled the garden. "Release him." It was Elira, her eyes glowing fiercely, her voice trembling with fury. Xiron froze. "My princess." "I said release him," she roared, and for the first time I saw the full force of her power. The air vibrated. Even the leaves shivered. He dropped me instantly. "You shame the royal house," she said coldly. "Leave before I strip your rank." He glared at me one last time before storming away, fury burning in his eyes. Elira turned to me, her expression softening instantly. "Ethan, are you hurt?" I rubbed my neck, still stunned. "I'm fine." "You didn't have to." "I did," she interrupted, her voice trembling slightly. "They need to learn that I choose my company, not them." Her eyes flickered between violet and pink. "Do you resent me for what I've done?" "Never," I whispered. "But they'll make you pay for it." She exhaled shakily. "Then let them try." The betrayal. The following morning I was arrested. No explanation. No hearing. Just 2 armored guards dragging me from my quarters and throwing me into a detention cell beneath the palace. The charge: interference with royal affairs. Days passed in silence. No food except nutrient paste. No light except the dim pulse of the energy field that sealed my cell. I thought she had forgotten me. Then one night I heard the sound of a key panel being overridden. The energy field flickered and vanished. Elira stood there, cloaked and trembling. "Come with me," she whispered. "Princess." "Elira," she corrected softly. "Please. We don't have much time." She led me through secret corridors that wound beneath the palace, paths I never knew existed. Guards patrolled above us, unaware that their own princess was betraying imperial law. Finally, we emerged in a small hangar where a sleek silver craft waited. "I can't let them destroy you for something I caused," she said, voice breaking. "You'll escape to the outer colonies. You'll be safe there." "And you?" Yes. Her eyes dimmed. "They'll strip me of my title. Maybe worse. But it doesn't matter. You have to live." I shook my head. "No. I'm not leaving you to face this alone." "Ethan." "No," I said firmly. "You said you choose your company. Well, I choose mine too." Tears shimmered in her glowing eyes. "Then we're both fools." She smiled, a soft, heartbreaking smile, and stepped into the pilot's seat. The escape. The hangar alarms began blaring the moment the engines roared to life. "Unauthorized launch detected." Elira slammed the thrusters, and the ship shot through the atmosphere like a comet. Plasma fire streaked past us as defense drones scrambled in pursuit. Hold on, she shouted. We weaved through energy blasts, diving into the cloud layers. My heart pounded as I gripped the console. They're locking on, I warned. Not for long, she muttered, tapping a sequence on the control pad. The ship shimmered, its hull shifting into phase camouflage. The sensors blinked out. The pursuers scattered, unable to track us. Minutes later, we broke free of Xeria's gravity well and drifted into the silent ocean of stars. We were free. Now. She exhaled slowly, slumping in her seat. We did it. I laughed shakily. You really just betrayed an empire for me. Her eyes glowed softly pink. I didn't betray them. I just chose something they could never understand. Exile. We found refuge on a remote moon called Verith 9, a forgotten mining world orbiting a dying sun. There, we built a small shelter using scavenged equipment from the ship. Days turned into weeks. The galaxy moved on, but we were ghosts, two fugitives hiding from an empire. And somehow, amidst the dust storms and silence, we found peace. She would sit by the fire every night, fascinated by its flickering light. Valari had never used open flame. Their world was too advanced, too sterile. It's alive, she once said, watching the flames dance. It devours, but it warms. It destroys, but it gives life. It reminds me of you humans. And you, I replied, remind me of the stars, beautiful, distant, but burning with power. Her cheeks flushed faintly gold. You shouldn't say things like that. Why not? Because I might believe them. And then she kissed me, a brief, trembling kiss that carried every unspoken word between us. The Empire returns. Months later, the Valari fleet found us. A massive cruiser descended from orbit, shaking the ground. We stood side by side as armored troops surrounded our shelter. Lord Xiron emerged from the lead craft, his red eyes burning with fury. Traitor! He spat at Elira. You shamed your bloodline for this creature. She stepped forward, chin high. I chose freedom. I chose love. He sneered. Then die with him. Before he could raise his weapon, the ground trembled. A deep hum filled the air, and the ship Elira had stolen activated itself. Its AI, still bound to her command signature, initiated defense mode. Energy cannons roared to life, forcing the soldiers to retreat. Amidst the chaos, Elira turned to me. We can't win this, Ethan. Then we'll face it together, I said. But she shook her head. No. I won't let them take you again. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever, pure violet light radiating from her skin. She placed her hands on my chest. Forgive me. Before I could respond, she unleashed her power, a burst of energy that hurled me backward into the ship. The hatch sealed automatically. Through the viewport, I saw her turn toward the oncoming soldiers, her aura blazing like a star. Then everything went white. The ending, legends never die. When I woke, the ship was drifting in deep space. The sensors showed no trace of Verith 9. The planet was gone. She had destroyed it, and herself, to erase our pursuers. But she had saved me. I searched for her for years. Every signal, every frequency, every hidden beacon, nothing. The galaxy had forgotten her. But I hadn't. They said she was a traitor, a fallen royal, a disgrace to her kind. But I knew the truth. She wasn't a traitor. She was a believer in freedom, in love, in humanity. Sometimes when I look out into the stars, I see a faint violet shimmer in the distance. Maybe it's her watching still. Maybe, somewhere beyond the veil of light, she's waiting for me. And I whisper to the void. She chose me, and I'll spend my life proving she was right to.